All right, I'm going to go through example coding the rainbow document. And if you're with my class, this was an assignment that we did for points. And I'm going to begin this like I would begin any document, regardless of what it was. And I would go ahead and put in the doc type declaration. That's kind of the first thing that we always put in. So exclamation mark, doc type, and HTML. Don't forget the HTML that goes in that. And then we put in our 4 required tag pairs for structure. And this is our what we call the HTML man. So we got the HTML tag, which opens at the beginning here and closes at the end. We have the head tag. We have the body tag, which comes after the head tag. But both of these are all, within the HTML tags. And then inside the head, we have the title. Okay, so here's our basic structure. And we would want to do that, save it in HTML format. And I've already loaded this up, so we'll hit refresh, and there it is. Okay. Now, what we want to do next will be to examine this document. So we're going to look up in the little tab. This is how we determine our title bar. And so between here, we're going to look up there, and we see it says Rainbows Rock. So I'll put that in and refresh my other documents so we can take a peek. And there we go, Rainbows Rock up in the tab. So we have a good start there. All right, next let's just go ahead and put everything in structurally. Now first off, let me just mention absolutely nothing goes between the head and the body. Nothing, like pretty much ever goes there. So we always will go straight from head to body. So you can leave a gap or not leave a gap, it does not matter. I can't find my backspace there, but nothing goes there, okay? Inside the body is everything that we see on the actual web page, which would be the background and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and code in just all of the text, and then whether or not, well, whatever block element it is, whether or not it's a heading, a paragraph, a horizontal rule, or a block quote. So here we go. The first thing is rainbows. It's a level 1 heading because it says here this is level 1. So rainbows, and turn it off. Don't forget the switch, the slash. Also make sure you're matching your numbers. I had somebody who opened in H1 and closed in H2, so the whole page stayed big. All right, then H2 for this one. And how do I know this is an H2 and not a paragraph? Again, we have a note that says it's a level 2. I like rainbows. And then turn it off. Okay? Now, right now, if we look at this, and I'll go ahead and refresh and we'll look at it, you'll see I and like and rainbows are not on the proper lines. And that's because where you want an enter within a heading or a paragraph, you need to have a line break, which is like this, BR space slash. It's an empty tag, so it does not have a closing tag. You do not put a BR at the end of the tag. You end the heading or you end the paragraph or whatever it is, but you don't put in a BR at the end. All right, now that looks right. Next paragraph says pink, red, paragraph, Superman. Okay, that's that paragraph. Next paragraph says black paragraph. Next paragraph over to the right over there says right, green, paragraph, like trees. Turn that off. All right, the next thing here is this line going all the way across. That's our horizontal rule, HR space slash. It's an empty tag. And then finally, the very last paragraph, created by, and your name. All right, and so here's our basic structure. And again, especially if you're struggling a bit with coding, you need to start with basic structure. Put it on there, and then put it into its block elements. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and start doing the formatting. So we'll start by making the page yellow. Now, anything involving color at this point in the game is going to be an inline style, meaning it's a style attribute. That style equals, and then something in quotation marks, and we'll put our styles in there. Remember, our style rules are going to be in the form of property, colon, value, semicolon. So we're changing 2 properties here. We're going to center this, and we're going to change its color. We'll do color first. change the color of the font. It's just the word color, property colon, and then value, red, semicolon. And then you move on to your next property value set, which in this case is text align. That's how we center, colon, center, semicolon. And I've just done the same thing. I did this earlier too. I put it in the wrong tag. Okay, I'm not going to do it again. I am going to just move it. So I'm looking at the heading and putting it in the body. So this really goes here. My bad. And I've already re-recorded this once, so sorry. Okay, so basically that's our formatting for our heading, which is what I was talking about. But our body up here is what we would format for our background color. Please don't just use the shorthand background. The proper tag is background, or the proper property is background color. Background actually does work in some browsers, but not all. So don't use it. All right, so background color, and that's got a little dash in there because there's no space bars in these. Colon yellow. All right, my bad. I hope that wasn't terribly confusing. Okay, so now we've got our yellow page. Again, body is styled for yellow, background color. And our heading, our H1, is red, and it's center aligned. So we're doing well now. And I like rainbows. We already put those enters in there, so that one's good too. All right, next down, I'm just kind of going in order, is going to be this pink red paragraph. So the pink has words, the words are struck through, the strike through. That's the DEL, which is like delete, and then turn it off. And if we test it, here we go. So that takes care of that part. And then additionally, you'll notice that the Superman is up high, and that is a superscript, which is sup. And then don't forget to turn it off. Okay. And then finally, this whole paragraph is red. So we'll change the color by putting in a style attribute, style equals, and then don't forget your both quotation marks, color, colon, red, semicolon. Okay, let's take a look. All right, we're good to go. Now I know it looks a little bit like these are blue on here, but the only thing that's changed color-wise on this to red are those two, and this line, and then this green paragraph is green. All right, let's move on. Black paragraph is bold, so we'll come over here and bold that, and that's a strong tag. Strong. And then turn it off. And make sure you turn it off before you turn off the paragraph. Nest it properly. If I were to draw a line from strong to strong and from paragraph to paragraph, they should not cross. All right, now the right green paragraph. Notice the bottom there, like trees, is down low. That would be a subscript, like a submarine. It goes down low. And then this paragraph is green. So style equals color colon. Oops, I got both those in there. Color colon, green semicolon. Now that's going to make it green, but that's not going to scoot it over to the other side. So let's just take a look and see. So far we're good. It's green. This is down low, but it needs to go over to the right-hand side. And so just after that semicolon, we add an additional one, and that's going to be text align, colon, right, semicolon. All right, and there we go. All right, next thing is this horizontal rule. Now, on here, mine is normal, but it needs to be red. And to work in all browsers, we talked about in class that you've got to add 4 different parts to this style. So we'll start with the easy one, color, red. And you'd think that would be all we'd have to do. I wish it was, but it's not. Color red, background dash color red. Remember, all of these are property colon, value semicolon. Okay, border dash color red, don't forget semicolon. And then finally, we have to give it a height in pixels. And when you put that in, it could be 1 or 2 pixels, it doesn't really matter. You put px right up next to the number. Don't put a space bar between those. And then your slash still goes at the very end of this tag where it was all the way through. All right, let's go ahead and refresh. And now I have a red line. And this will work in all of the major browsers. Let me word wrap this. There we go, so we can see better. All right. Finally, this last paragraph is, if we look at it, I believe, in italics. Yep. So we'll put in EM tags. That's our emphasis tag, which italicized. Again, close these in reverse order so they are properly nested. And then let's take a look and see if we got everything. I'll just try to scoot this over here so we can kind of check it out. All right. Rainbows, it's a level 1, red and centered. Level 2 with our line breaks. Strike through, red paragraph with a Superman superscript. Black paragraph and it's in bold. Right green paragraph with the subscript like trees and it's over to the green to the right and it's green. Red horizontal rule and final line created by me. And I've got my name in there and it's in italics. Title bar rainbows rock, title bar rainbows rock. So at a glance this all looks correct. Let's just pop in here and make sure. So I can't see my HTML tag. I think it's down there. I'm sitting in the dark so I can't see. Okay, there we go. All right, so HTML, head, title, those are all good. Body, there it is. My heading 1 is closed. My heading 2, my paragraph, my delete, my superscript, paragraph strong, paragraph, subscript. My horizontal rule has its opening and closing as 1, so you see it highlights the slash. Paragraph, emphasis tags. So everything is closed, everything that's opened is closed. My empty tags indeed do have their little slashes. Those are highlighted in there as well. So at a glance this looks like it's right, and hopefully it is. So there you go. Hopefully this helps you to better understand this assignment. And I would strongly suggest you start it again from scratch, just like I did here. Maybe even watch this and do it along with me, but pause and get ahead of me so you can kind of check and see if you're doing it right. It's really just a matter of practice. Learning to code HTML is something that you have to memorize and you have to practice. And if you're taking good notes and you're utilizing those notes as you should, really, it's just a matter of following directions. It's remembering things like style has an equals, and then after the equals is always going to be those quotation marks and so forth. All right, good luck to you.